Welcome back to the Face-to-Face podcast. I'm your host, Lewis, and today we're going to be talking about just the history of the podcast and kind of why we've decided to delve into YouTube and all that and just expand our horizons. I've got a few guests with me today. Our first guest is the second host with the second most. He likes outdoors, hunting, and most importantly, grabbing fish for fun, Jared. Now, we're going to do a couple icebreakers, Jared. Do you prefer salmon or salamander?
Salamander is an amphibian, so I'm going to say salmon.
And why is that?
Because it's a fish, and salmon tastes fire when smoked.
Oh, I bet it does. I bet you have a lot of experience smoking salmon, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, with that out of the way, our second guest is Dre'Kel. His favorite color is green. Dre'Kel. Chicken or turkey?
Chicken.
And why is that?
It's one of my favorite foods.
Same here, Dre'Kel.
Mm-hmm.
Same here. What's your opinion on chicken, Jared?
It's pretty good. I really only like fried chicken, though, for real.
Now, fried chicken is
too.
where it's at. Rotisserie chicken just tastes weird. Okay. We can't go off into a tangent about chicken because that's not what this episode's about. But I'll make a mental note of that. Well, I suppose we just dive right into it. Here at Face to Face, we strive to give our students the best opportunities they can. And for my recollection, the podcast club started in about 2020 to 2021, right after COVID. It was created to kind of get kids talking again, kind of just get that social aspect of school back in. You know, after being home for 3 years, I wouldn't want to talk to anyone either. So, you know, it's just kind of a good way to get people talking and give the students a way to get their voice out there, especially in this modern age. And as the podcast has become a part of this school, it's kind of blossomed into its own thing. I joined last year. I was there for about the second half, kind of last half of the last year of podcasts. And Dre'Kel did a total of 1. So you count, Dre'Kel. Yippee. You barely missed the mark, but you did it.
Yep.
So what do you remember about your first podcast?
Well, it was calm. It was calm. And we were just talking about a lot of things, you know. It was like, it wasn't really much because I wasn't there for that long, but it was really good for my first experience. And I would definitely do it again in that same setting.
Do you want to tell the viewers the title of your first podcast so that they may check it out if they so wish to?
Wow. I actually don't remember the title of it.
I can't blame you. I don't know the title of half the podcast I'm on. So.
I don't remember the title.
I probably can't. I can't tell you what this is going to be named, but yeah. So I just remember it was very chill. I remember we didn't have it in this room. It used to be in the other room. It's like a utility closet, and it was just a big old table. It felt like a talk show almost.
Mm-hmm. Almost kind of like a coffee shop or something.
I'm not gonna lie, I miss having the little board like in front of me because it made you feel like I could just stop it whenever I wanted. It's like, dang, I got all that power. I could mute you right now while you talking. But yeah, I mean, it was fun. You know, I joined more to just get my voice out there. I was really socially awkward when I first came to this school. So, you know, I thought being on a podcast would kind of force me to talk to people. You know, it sounds messed up, but like you just kind of have to do it. Actually, let's get into that. Why did you guys feel compelled to join podcasts?
Well, probably for the same reason that you did, because when I first came to the school, like you said, very socially awkward, didn't talk to people much, but like when you get to know people better, you know that they're like really going to be like the best person for you later in life. You know what I'm saying? Or throughout your high school years, you know?
To be honest, man, I joined the podcast, number one, because I actually like podcasts. I don't listen to podcasts that often, but I think they're definitely helpful if you are trying to do something in the background and you want to hear a conversation maybe about like something you like or something you're interested in, and you don't have to pay your attention fully to podcasts. You can just listen. That's one thing. Like, I think the concept of podcasts are cool. And the other thing is I had a friend that was in podcast. I actually still have a friend, Lewis. He was in here, and it was my first quarter, so I just joined where he was.
Yeah, that makes sense. I remember my first challenge here was actually not having anyone here. Because every school I'd been to, I had, like, someone that I knew to some degree there. But, like, here it was like, I really don't know anybody. It was even worse my first year because everyone was adults. Like, when I joined, everyone was seniors about to graduate. So, like, I was the only, like, 14-year-old in a room of grown men. There's one dude, when he was, like, he looked like he had, like, kids. He was paying a mortgage. I was like, dude, why are you in my freshman classes? Like, how did you get here? I was scared of that guy, but. Yeah, and then, I don't know. I feel like it really depends on when you get started at this school. Because if you start kind of like early, not early, later in the year, when everyone's seniors and they're about to graduate, it's kind of like, dang, I'm the youngest here. I remember I was actually talking to you when you were doing your intake, and you said that you were the youngest person there. I honestly don't believe you. Everyone there looked like middle schoolers to me.
I mean, I had that same, like, feeling. Like, they all looked a lot younger than me, but I'm pretty sure I was the only 14-year-old in that room.
You know, they looked like, one girl looked like she was in 6th grade. I was like, who let a 12-year-old in here? She must have skipped something. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I think the podcast was really the first place I got to kind of just speak out. I mean, it was cool. And then, you know, producer asked me if I wanted to be the host, and I was too, like, awkward to say no. So I just said yes. And then I kept hosting because I found it was easier than being a guest. And here we are. Now y'all made me host this podcast.
That is true, definitely. Low key, it's my second podcast, or it's not. I guess it's not a podcast, but it's my second time on the mic.
Episode.
So, you know, I was kind of out of the question for host. So,
I mean, you could have done it.
I could have.
I'm sure you would have been an amazing host with that performance you did in class. I'm Jared. It's Dre'Kel. It's Lewis. Podcast. This would have been your intro. That would have been fire.
And then he showed off the little quarter trick.
Y'all want to see me flip a quarter on camera?
Yeah. I didn't really know what to do there. I'll be honest. Like, they just told me to teach somebody one thing that I was really good at, and I'm really good at that for some reason.
I mean, I don't think I could do it. So, like, you know, it's not a bad choice. I'm sure there are plenty of people who'd be interested in learning that. I think that's another good thing about podcasts and just getting your stuff out there. Kind of opens up your field of view. Like, one of my favorite things to do are interviews. One of my favorite episodes I've hosted was the interview between Charles Adams last year. You weren't here for that. You were here for that, but you weren't in podcast, I don't think. It was after school. It was me and this other kid. I don't know if I can name drop him, but because, like, I don't know the rules of the podcast, even though I've been hosting for like a year. It was me, him, and then Charles Adams. We were just talking about his book. I'm not gonna lie, I did not finish the book. I wasn't there for the last week. I got to like halfway through, and then Jennifer was like, "Hey, do you want to host this interview?" I'm like, "Sure." You know, I'm not doing well in English. I need those credits. So I couldn't finish the book. So I had to like Google him and like come up with questions from like just looking at his Wikipedia and everything. And then I also had to like write down questions from the little speech he gave. But, you know, I did not finish the book. So it was just super awkward. And I mean, I liked the book. You know, it wasn't that it was a bad book. I thought it was really good, actually. It was compelling, but just getting to interview people, I think, is one of my favorite parts. Because, I mean, A, I like talking. I can talk a lot.
Yeah.
And B, it's just nice to get someone else's point of view. Yeah, I think that's definitely my favorite episode I've done. And then I think one of the first ones I hosted was the senior episode where they, like, interviewed seniors. That was my first, like, interview. That one was, like, super stressful. Because, like, I was just, like, I was trying so hard not to mess up because it was, like, my second episode, I think, hosting anything. But, yeah, I mean, shoot, do you have any memories from your first few episodes you did?
I mean, the only thing I could really remember well was the cell phone bans and how like even though I was the host and I was supposed to like bring people into conversation,
You
I
weren't
didn't really
talking
do
at
that.
all.
I didn't really do that. I was just like kind of just there, you know what I'm saying, to start the podcast and end it. But I really enjoyed y'all's conversations over like the phone bans and the policy though. It was amazing.
Yeah, Darius was hosting more than you were. I'm not
Yeah,
gonna-
all I said was welcome to the podcast, and then we're at
Welcome
the
to
end.
podcast. This has been the podcast. Have fun.
That's all I said.
I mean, I remember he tried to get you on, and you were just like, I think phones are good. I think we should keep them.
Exactly.
And that was, or like you would just say, I agree with that guy. That was it. Like, bro, you made me sound like a nerd. I was over here giving like facts about my opinion. You were just like, I agree with that guy.
Yep.
He knows what he's talking about.
Exactly. I mean, it's kind of what I had to do because it was my first time hosting, so I was kind of nervous, but you know.
I mean, on like a fundamental level, you did what you needed to do. Open and close. You don't got to do much else. I mean, I like that episode. I mean, I like going on episodes like that just because, you know, I'm a nerd. I like psychology, stuff like that. Technology. What's your major? But, yeah. So getting to talk about that stuff is just nice. And, you know, it's not like I can be on the game and be like, did you guys know that if you go to bed 2 hours earlier, you'll wake up with another hair on your chin or something like that? That's just mad weird. So, like,
Oh, you've tried it before.
no, I swear I haven't. Okay. Maybe I have, but, you know, okay, moving on. But yeah, a lot has changed since the days of having a room with Pringles in the back. Thankfully, y'all couldn't see that. That room was messy sometimes. But, you know, a lot has changed since then. A lot has changed since I've been on it. And that's where Jared comes in. You know, he's been here since the quarter started, since we started doing YouTube. Or no, actually, he started after, I think, because we started last quarter. Yeah, because you were in last quarter when we were doing YouTube, too. So he's kind of newer here. Jared, what would you say your opinions on how we do things here are?
Being that I've never done any sort of recording or podcasting, because this is actually very unique in my experience, I don't have much to say because, I mean, the setup and the equipment is definitely like, it's definitely like y'all take this serious. Other than that, though, I don't really have anything to compare it to.
I'm not going to lie. When I first came here and they said they had a podcast, my first thought was it was going to be like a Apple Chromebook or Apple MacBook in the middle of the table with like an extension port and just like 4 $20 Blue Yeti mics plugged into it. Had an intern doing the editing. But then like when they were giving me the tour and I looked inside, I was like, dang, it's professional stuff.
Mm-hmm.
You know, might have to sign up for that. But yeah, I mean, what do y'all think is some of the benefits of us like doing the YouTube portion of it? Because I mean, me and him have been here for the podcast portion of it. But, you know, you just started, so I think you might have a little bit more to say about this.
Like I said before, I definitely like the idea of a podcast, especially in a school setting, because it gets people talking and it, like, you can really get your ideas out there. And I think a YouTube is honestly like just that, but better. And it gets to a more audience because YouTube is more widely used. But to that effect, also, it's really like there's a lot of stuff. Like to find a podcast for a school on a platform like YouTube, it is going to be a little bit hard to get out there realistically, because unless you're really, really like searching for that, it is going to be like hard to get people interested, in my opinion. What do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, okay, first of all, you ain't got to side at me like that, bro. That was intimidating. I thought you was going to come over here and punch me. Yeah, stop. Okay, but for real, though. I I think it's better just because of the more variety of content you can do. Like, we don't got to just be sitting down here talking. We
Right.
could have a camera out and I don't always forget the teachers' names. Jason's room, and we could do like gaming or just do other stuff. We can record around the school now. We got those little pocket mics for the storage. We could do those in longer form videos. Like one of my ideas was do like a 10-minute video tour of the school, just like walk around with the mic, kind of explain everything, have a dude follow you with the phone or whatever. But yeah, it's just you get more variety of content, and I think that's going to draw a lot more kids to the podcast club, just because, now it's not only you're talking on a podcast, you could do a football episode. You could have a camera outside and record a basketball game of ours. There's just a lot more variety, and I think it's good because a lot more people here get to express themselves in ways they couldn't really do here. And I think that's one of the things I like more about the fact they have a podcast, especially because you get to make your own episodes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but actually, did we do that last quarter?
I don't think we did.
I don't remember. I think I was writing one and then I gave up. No, it's because I hosted like 4 of them, so they didn't let me do another one. Remember, Jennifer had to stop me. I tried to raise my hand one time and she was like, anyone else but him? I mean, I'm trying to get that credit, so.
That's real.
It's worth it.
50 points, that is most definitely worth it.
Okay. You didn't really get to speak on it. What do you think is some of the benefits of us doing YouTube, Dre'Kel?
Well, I mean, like he said, it gets us more out there. It also gets people out of their comfort zone and, like, makes them, like, more social, you know what I'm saying? And, mainly what he said, though. I agree with him.
Old habits die hard, huh?
Yep.
What he said.
Yep.
I'm sorry. But, yeah. I can't really think of much else to talk about, to be honest, I think this will be a good introduction to anyone who lives in the St. Paul area or even just near us in general. This has been the Face to Face podcast. I've been joined by
Jared.
And Dre'Kel.
And I hope y'all will tune in for the other episodes of this series. I forgot to mention it's a series, but that's okay. Yeah, goodbye.